Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for game number 2 of this best of 5 grand final between CDEC and Invictus Gaming. It is, of course, MLP Dota and John X Fire. John, IG do manage to take game number 1 after 65 minutes. Game number 2, what do you think CDEC needs to do differently?
It's hard to say. I don't see any major faults there from CDEC. I think the one thing that really got them down was the fact that 1-2-3's farm was a bit too low on the Bat Rider. So perhaps if they're going to go for that, try to reassess your farm distribution. Try to give some back to your offlaner. I think if you give 1-2-3 that good start or the release, let him build up a bit. He could have contributed a lot more. Otherwise, I feel like their plays were on point. Both teams are just playing really well. And it really just boils down to who gets that slight advantage. It's all decided on the flip of a coin, it looks like. And in that last one, I mean, CDEC, they were playing up against a 49k, 46k deficit for a long time, but they held out against IG. They got more objectives earlier on, and they really stalled that game out. So I'm curious to see whether or not both teams will shake up their draft or kind of go back to the same thing. It looks like both teams are slowly building back to their old draft. CDEC open with the Mirana, IG, they get that Ogre Magi, and the Gyrocopter.
Back to the Gyro it is. And it seems like it's just an easy pick to make. Of course, you've already got the Ogre, CDEC. I thought they were going to pick up a Shadow Demon, as it wasn't banned or picked, but they go for the Clockwork pickup.
I like that. I like that so much here from CDEC. We saw what they could do with the Clockwork Mirana dual lane. If they opt to do that with a core Clockwork for 1-2-3, I think that's a hero he does fantastically on. Doesn't require too much farm to be online. Can be very disruptive. If IG isn't ready for this, it's going to be a very hard lane for them to match up against.
Certainly will be. For CDEC and IG, one more ban each. They'll get rid of the Ember and OD again, so they want to deny those off Emo. We saw the exact same thing last time around in the last draft. IG. That last draft took a very long time for this 5th ban. I believe they took about a minute and a half reserve time in the first draft for this 5th ban. See how long they think about it this time.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Because IG should have seen this this Clockwork in the previous series that we did watch up against Newbie. So they should kind of know what to expect out of 1-2-3 with this clock. Just a matter if they're really ready for it though. It did devastate Newbie quite hard.
Yeah, it's there are still ways to draft around this if you know how it's run. I think just having the Ogre is a very different story for CDEC. Much harder to burst that support down. So if they do run that dual lane, it might not work the way CDEC wants it to go. At the same time, it's still a bit of a surprise here. Not sure if IG has played against that too often. They ban out the Lifestealer, which is great because that's just a natural hero to go into with the Clockwork. You have that great vehicle already. Just taking that out of the equation is pretty fantastic. Eve just plays a really mean Lifestealer. All throughout. He's done a lot of work. IG, they go with a Rubik, and that's a really fantastic pick here. A lot of good spells to steal from that Mirana and Clock. They do end up with a Shadow Demon now in CDEC, so you have that set up for the Mirana. Really potent lanes coming out from both sides.
Kind of shocked to see the Shadow Demon actually just made it through to the second phase of picks, but it did. So IG don't care for it. They'll go for the Omni Knight, which does make enough sense. As long as you got that Omni around, if anyone gets arrowed with that Shadow Demon disruption, you just Heavenly Grace and it doesn't matter. I do love that pick, even with the Clockwork. He wants to hook in and get work done, but again, Heavenly Grace, Guardian Angel kind of makes it a hell of a lot harder for CDEC to make those big jumps on the side of IG. Not to mention the Gyrocopter loves having that Omni Knight behind him. See how CDEC does respond. They are yet to show us really their mid and position 1 carry. Doesn't seem like there's many good options left in the pool though. I mean, so many of them have been banned out. Of course, there is the Troll that we did see them play before and they did make it work. It wasn't a decisive win though, it was just a win. Of course, they could also go back to that Lycan that they've been running on the side of CDEC. But whether they have the lineup for it.
Yeah, That's something they could fall back to. Gonna be interesting to see. We have seen the Omni Knight really cause a lot of issues for a lot of different teams. I'm wondering if they're gonna specifically counter-target that one. They do go with Lesh. There's that push we were looking for CDEC. They have it in spades now. They have great setup with the Shadow Demon and the Mirana. Lots of aggression from this lineup so far. I do want to see what their mid is going to be, though. Like, CDEC, they definitely need a mid that maybe scales a bit better. If they fall behind a bit too far with this kind of lineup, it's not going to be easy to stay even with a Gyrocopter.
5 seconds remaining.
IG. Final ban for them. Of course, that is going to be a core Leshrac, by the way, which is, I mean, every time we've seen the Leshrac as of late, it has been the position 4. So the core Lesh probably will be in the safe lane, I imagine. Could be mid, of course, as well. IG, they'll actually get rid of the Slark. So not feeling the Slark this game. Don't want to have to go up against it. Fair enough.
10 seconds remaining.
Of course, IG could run the Gyro mid, but that's highly doubtful. They'll probably pick up another hero for Emo. They'll ban the Storm Spirit, but that does allow him his Invoker if he wishes. And CDEC will go back to that Troll Warlord, it seems.
It's fair enough. They've gotten a lot going for themselves with that. It gives them that scaling they want to have up against a Gyrocopter. So it's going to be able to match up if in case the game goes late. I like that last pick for them, but the draft doesn't feel as confidence-inspiring as it was last time, I have to say. It's a solid draft. It's just this time around, I do think IG's got a better draft going for themselves. After the performance in Game 1, I can see them pulling this one off quite well. It's going to be down to that mid pickup for them. I mean, the Invoker's in the pool if they want to go for that. I'm not sure if you would. But it is there for Emo if they want.
Seems pretty alright though, right? Like you pop the Battle Trance throughout the Tornado and suddenly the Battle Trance just gets half its duration wasted.
Yeah. There's a lot of utility in that Invoker here. Although it does look like IG is really thinking about it.
You haven't got the best heroes to kind of gel with it though. Like you've got no one that really takes advantage of the well, never mind, the PO will come out and it looks like Gyro will be going mid.
Huh. Okay. That is a very, very interesting shakeup. There isn't too much from CDEC that can clear those illusions afterwards. I mean, they have some great wave clear in their heroes, but Troll Warlord does not deal with a PL too well. So I like that coming out from IG. Should be interesting to see that unfold. Emo Gyrocopter, that is going to be a bit of a treat. We don't see that too often, but it's going to be up against Troll played by XM. So that mid lane matchup is not the most typical, Mike. I mean, we've seen both of these heroes go mid before, but not against each other.
It's hard to know who it favors. I mean, I guess both players will probably just stay at range and just trade CS most of the time. You'd imagine it still does favor Emo if we are talking about actually getting into a fight. Just because he does have the Rocket Barrage homing missile available to him. Kind of intrigued as well with IG. I mean, you talked about the PL. You've still got a core Leshrac you have to deal with. That's my concern for this PL. Of course, you go Diffusal, burn the Leshrac's mana, and suddenly Eve won't be able to do anything anyway, but...
Yeah. It's down to the timing. Like, early on, CDEC does have a way of controlling Fly. But as the game goes on, it grows into more and more of a game for XM. It's down to him to grow big. It's down to him to find those big targets. Eve, he can still get work done. He can still maybe help to identify the real PL. But you really don't want to be pushing it all too late against the lineup IG has. They scaled so much better on those two cores. The PL and the Jar, of course, just scale massively with gold. So if you're going to push this game to 65, I don't see CDEC actually holding as well as they did in Game 1. But you never know. These guys, I mean, they held up against a 40k deficit. I could just be completely wrong, and they wouldn't mind going late game at all.
They haven't seemed to mind all day. See how it all pans out for them. That just does not seem like one of those games where you would want to go too late up against the PL. It just becomes very, very painful to deal with. Plus, you still got the gyro as well, who is equally as painful. I wonder how Emo does perform in this mid gyro. I mean, it's very hard for a gyrocopter to lose a lane. The likelihood is he will just outright win the lane, but it's just not really the style of the play style that we're used to seeing Emo on. Usually very aggressive on these mid cores, but the gyrocopter is much more farm intensive.
I'd say it's actually pretty aggressive. Like, if you're going to be playing around your early spells, especially that rocket barrage, you can be really, really aggressive with a hero. You will need to sit back and farm at some point. You don't want to just waste too much time walking around. But I can see Emo actually pulling this off quite well. The issue is the matchup. Troll does have ways of playing around that gyro. He does stay in range as well, and has pretty good attack animations. His damage output with spells is not as great. But if he just stays out of range, he should be able to at least keep pace with the gyro. Not going to be clearing out those waves as fast. He doesn't have anything like flak. Still, you can make the gyrocopter kind of miss with your axe throws. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see this one unfold, actually.
James, he'll rotate up top of the Mirana. So you're going to have that Clockwork Mirana lane all over again. Except this time around, they're up against the PO, which is arguably easier than it was last time with the gyrocopter. Still, the PO will have a way out of the cogs with that doppelganger. Looks like they are going to specifically focus on making sure 123 never feels comfortable in the lane. Zolly and Fly already dishing out a hell of a lot of harassment towards these two.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for 123 to trade favorably. That Ogre is a bit too tanky. The PL is going to be dipping in and out way too much. This is a bit of a rough lane for CDEC. If they can isolate one of these heroes, that would be big. But I'm not sure if IG will allow that. It doesn't look like it. They're playing their cards right. Applying that pressure onto this clock is big.
Nice little arrow from James. The fly. It'll just be a bit of a stun. Of course, looking over to that mid lane, Emo and XM. Just going head to head. Can't expect anything too special out of these two. It'll just be a farming lane for a while. You'll see Emo just throwing out homing missiles here and there, but that'll pretty much be it. And the bot lane may be more interesting. We have JT and Kaka there on the Omni Rubik, but they'll be up against Eve and, of course, Victoria on the Shadow Demon. Always got to be careful about that disruption into the Split Earth. That can just really easily find the side of CDEC a kill down at this bot lane.
Definitely could. Seeing Eve on this Lesh, it's pretty nice. Like, it does kind of suit his playstyle. He does play aggressive in lane. My worry is the timing. If they let Eve slide out too long, he's not going to be as effective as you'd expect. And considering how the games have been going, I don't see this ending fast for either side. So we'll see whether or not Eve can hit those power spikes and give a lot of momentum for his team.
Emo does have a haste rune up in the mid lane. Maybe begin to try to get a little bit more aggressive, but he doesn't really have much mana to play with. He will actually bring out a lot of mangoes onto the gyro, so now you do have the option if you wish. Looks like he will not. See CDEC top lane, trying to find Ollie on that Ogre now. They actually haven't got any levels up in the Battery Assault yet, but they've got the Cogs Rocket Flare, and there's the Battery Assault coming up. Fly though, we'll go ahead and say hello to 123. Meanwhile, bot lane, Kaka falling very low. Eve with the Diabolic Edict really just bringing him down, but he will be able to get out of there. The Heavenly Grace was available from JT to just keep him alive while he ran away.
Sustain coming out in this lane just means that neither side is going to be finding any big kill ops. Like, Rubik plus Omni isn't really that potent. The damage isn't that great. At the same time, you have great damage from Shadow Demon Lush, but sustain from Omni means that bit of a tall order to find those kills. So it's going to be a very passive bot lane. Up top as well, it's much more passive than you'd expect. There's not much 1-2-3 can go for. He does just opt for that early rocket flare, as we saw earlier, to secure himself last hits, which is fair enough, because he can't walk up. The PL just has too many ways of running away, and the Ogre Magi is pretty tanky, although he traps him in.
Yeah, get the cogs off. Battery Sword Arrow is blocked off by the creep wave. Some unfortunate timing there for CDEC, because if that creep wave wasn't there, that probably would have been a very, very easy pickoff. CDEC will have to allow Ollie to walk out, and Ollie will be counting his blessings. They'll get back, salve up and reset, although bot lane, it looks like Victoria going to get very low. He will survive for now as Eve going for another. In fact, he'll turn his attention onto JT. They'll take out the Omni. Kaka still being chased down on the Rubik, and it looks like James will find him as well.
Yeah, and just like that, all of that tension is released. You do find 2 nice kills on bot lane. We were talking about the sustainability of this dual lane being great. But if you cop too much damage from Lush, if you allow him to get that isolated Diabolic Edict, you're not going to be living for too long, Heavenly Grace or not.
It was really the arrow flying in from James that set it up. They were just going to try and go after Kaka, but as soon as that arrow connected, he realized the Edict was still going. I thought, screw it, let's just take down JT instead. It's a very nice setup there from the Mirana. So we look back into that mid lane where, again, they are still trading. Emo currently falling a little bit behind in CS, but now Kaka comes in to help out. XM, bit of a sitting duck, but never mind. The arrow connected once again from James. They'll find a kill on the gyro, and now Kaka's going to be in trouble. Battle Trance has been popped, and he is dead. XM with a double.
Yeah, that is massive going the way of CDEC. Just really good patience there. Rather hasty from IG to just go for that lift and try and find that kill. I mean, XM was pretty low, but you didn't know where the Mirana was. You know James was just around that jungle area. And it does cost him. That will slow down the gyrocopter just a bit more. And it is a bit of a rough lane for him, as you see XM really pulling ahead now.
It's just not a lane you would expect to lose to. I mean, the troll. XM doing a great job mid. He's going to keep that up in the jungle now. In fact, he will return back to the mid lane. Emo, though, got to be careful. James is still around the area in his own jungle. And we'll keep vision on what Emo's up to. Might just go for the creep steal with the arrow if he wants. No, James, he'll just go for an easy TP up. Looks like bot lane is where the action's at, as Ollie being chased down by Eve. But Eve has run out of mana, but Kaka there with the lift to ensure everyone gets out safely. IG, at least for now, finding themselves on the back foot. None of these lanes are really going great for them, apart from that top lane where Fly is at the top of the last hits board. And it looks like 1-2-3 hasn't really been able to shut him down.
That's the one thing with CDEC's lanes. The Clockwork lane just doesn't work out too well. You are giving a lot of space to Fly. So he finishes up his power treads. He's going to be working towards faster farm. A lot of ways you can itemize on this PL to really change up your playstyle.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Top lane, 1-2-3. Looks like he's been surrounded, but Eve will TP in on the Leshrac. Just clear out all those illusions. Well, Fly just gonna get out of there. The arrow from James was nowhere near hitting him. Where has he actually gone? So he sees Eve, he says, screw this, I'm just gonna farm the jungle up. CDEC probably going to try and push in that tier 1 top tower a bit. PL just doesn't want to stick around for that to happen. Although, as I say that, Kaka has rotated in with him. So perhaps they go for a kill attempt here. Not really that easy while Eve's around, but they're going to try. Lance will fly out, but the Pulse Nova begins. There's just no way you take that if you're IG.
Yeah, it's a rough one. They do manage to find that nice kill down bot as well on the Shadow Demon. They are going to clear themselves out for a bit of shoving that tier 1 down bot.
Mid lane goes down as well. 1-2-3 was there with XM. They just clear it out. CDEC looking to push down even more. Again, they're still up at that top lane. There's no real defense to come out as Fly. Gonna stick around and try and man fight 1, 2, 3. Doesn't realize he's probably surrounded right now. Well, there's the disruption coming out. The arrow to follow, although the neutral creep blocks the arrow. And now Fly just gonna try and turn around. What an unfortunate arrow coming out from James again. And with that, Emo rotates on the gyro. Homing missile will follow and it will connect on the clock. Though they are still going for Victoria, but now Fly, he gets turned on. JT as well, going to be chased down. He does have the Heavenly Grace, but it looks like he's going to take way too much damage, and he does go down to the side of CDEC. And so a 2-for-0 trade, and they will be able to find this top tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad at first. The arrow being whiffed by James was pretty big. But they do have the heroes in place. They turn that around. They still find a kill on Fly. And suddenly it's all worthwhile. Everything else is right in the world. They secure themselves some nice kills and a tier 1 tower. Although there is more. A lot of activity on the map. Not going to be finding end kills, but they will clear out these stacks.
Yeah, Emo was desperately trying to clear them out before they came. It is too late though. Eve's got them. Or at least most of them. Emo definitely not going to be very happy about that, as that was essentially his catch-up farm from that bad mid lane that he had. Got to the other side of the jungle though, start farming up Ancients instead. Should be able to catch up just about the same.
It's a rough spot to be in right now as IG though. You've got these 2 greedy cores that haven't really taken over the game yet. If you take a look at the net worth graph, top 2 heroes are from CDEC. Eve and XM, both having an excellent time in terms of farm. If they can keep that lead up and keep applying the pressure to IG, there's not going to be enough space to get a big gyro and PL.
The bot lane, they are also going to go after JT on the Omni. 1, 2, 3 just running straight in. Has the cogs available, but doesn't quite commit it yet. He will now, as he does have Eve in the cogs with him. JT, there's just nothing he can do about this. He just accepts his death on the Omni. And CDEC look to be setting up for another tier 1 tower at the bot lane now.
And with that Leshrac, Eve of course can just melt these towers quite fast. Although, he is really building up in this hero. 5k net worth, 700 ahead of the PL. He already has his traveled, he's going for his Yules next. And he has been a menace on this hero. 2-0, not dying just yet. Buying a lot of space for his team.
There will be a smoke from CDEC.
No sorceries avail.
They do have the hookshot available on 1, 2, 3, so easy setup for him. Arca gonna run past XM. Have Invis rune. Looks like the other CDEC heroes are gonna stick around XM. Just make sure he's alright. Maybe use him as bait if you can. The smoke will break 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure about that though. He jumps onto Ollie on that ogre. He should be able to find this kill, and they will, but he'll trade his own life away, it looks like, as Fly gonna move in. 1, 2, 3 still alive, but Kaka does find him with the Fade Bolt. And XM still chasing Fly still gets the ensnare as well. He does get the kill, and now the battle trance comes out. Kaka's in trouble. Emo could be in trouble. He gets ensnared as well. He's going down. He does flat cannon, but it's not going to be enough. And look at JT just melting to Eve, as Eve does run out of mana and just back off anyway. But I thought that was a bad initiation from the clock. Turns out it works out. They find the position 1 and the position 2 in that.
Yeah, it's down to the fact that 1, 2, 3 can just get that kind of initiation going because he has the backup of his Shadow Demon. We've seen that time and time again. 1, 2, 3 walks up, Battery Assault, cogs up, all the spells fly out, but he just gets disrupted up. And that's enough. That breaks out the combo from IG, that buys enough time for all the other heroes to catch up, and suddenly that fight turns on its head. 11-3, massive advantage for CDEC, 3k net worth advantage for him as well. So they are building up, and the space is growing smaller for IG. They can't get enough farm going on both Emo and Fly. One of the heroes has to slow down a bit, and you can't really afford to do that with both of these guys. Like, you want your Gyrocopter to be big, you want your PL to be big. At this rate, both of them are just kind of okay. You know, it's not bad farm, but it's not the snowball start you really want from these guys.
You have the Moonlight Shadow coming out. James looking to set up. Rather Victoria with the disruption. Ollie, gonna be an easy pick to make, and they can just disrupt, and that's exactly what they do. James has the arrow and does set up with it, and with that they should be able to find that kill, though another hookshot will find Kaka as well. So Ollie and Kaka both going down. That bot T1 just can't sustain the Diabolic Edict coming out from Eve. They'll fortify for now, but XM is there as well. It's a 13-3, a very one-sided game for this game number 2, at least for now. 4k net worth lead for CDEC, and just really no way IG's coming back into this yet. They just haven't got the items they need. In fact, Fly may die. He does TP out. There was no way to cancel it. But everywhere they go to farm, CDEC is just there.
It's hard. They've got to find a way to get this farm up. They should be able to secure these bounties, and they do up top at the very least. It did cost them their cooldown, but it's not a massive cooldown spell. So you're going to be happy enough with that. Still, lots of things not quite working out yet for IG. They need to slow this game down, avoid these fights, get the farm going on your cores. Gyrocopter and Phantom Lancer need that gold. They are very close to the defusal on Fly. That could give him enough for team fights, but he doesn't have the durability.
JT getting caught out by the hookshot though. They lift him out of the cogs. 1, 2, 3. Trying to run away, but he has a blade mail up anyway, so he doesn't mind getting hit as they turn around now. Emo gonna be the target. He'll throw the call down out. Eve straight into the backlines, going after the supports while they're taking that gyro out. And XM, he'll find Emo very, very easily. The rest of IG just dissipated. And it looks like they're kind of setting up for a Roshan attempt now. But no, it is just over that power rune. Eve will go ahead and pick up a haste. And this game just keeps getting worse and worse for IG. And at the very least, it looks like Fly does have the diffusal coming out, but that is not going to turn the tides quite yet.
No, definitely not. He needs at least this Manta style up before they force something.
It's still going mid. Ollie.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Just like that. You just don't have enough to face up against this. XM just hits too hard. They're all a bit tanky. You don't have the damage up in these heroes. You have durability with your Omni Knight. That's really it. You have to buy time. You have to slow this game down. You have to get the stacks going. You cannot afford to lose your jungle here. But it doesn't look like CDEC is pressuring that jungle as much as you'd want. Still, the game has kind of been too fast for them. Knight's arrow onto Eve though.
Yeah, that's going to be a big pickup if they can find it. Moonlight Shadow, but they did have the dust available. It's a lot of gold going to the way of JT on the Omni. Though, looks like mid lane, Emo has been caught out again on the Gyrocopter. 1, 2, 3 will pick up the kill on the clock. Didn't even require the hook for that. They just kind of ran in and got the Cogs battery sold off. So I'm not really sure how worthwhile it was for the Leshrac anyways. The Gyro Emo is just finding nothing off this map, and this is some very slow farm for a Gyrocopter to say the least.
It definitely is. They're still finding the trades, but you know, when you lose a gyro like that, it's just not good.
Kaka. Creep up on CDEC, but JT dropping an item for a second there. He does get arrowed up. And JT is purifying, but is going to die. And it looks like they may have found another Kaka. The hookshot there from 1, 2, 3. Going to be a very easy pick once again. IG continues to get picked apart by CDEC. 7k net worth lead now. I mean, Fly, he joins the team. He wants to try and help out. James is already in position. He uses up the gyro, sends the arrow out, does connect. 1, 2, 3 straight in. And with that, the cooldown's there, but it's not going to matter. Emo, he's dropping way too fast. They find another kill onto Ollie and Emo, and that's a tier 2 tower now gone.
Yeah, it's not looking great for IG. Their defense is... They can't defend at all. They don't have the team fight. They went for a really greedy dual core here that isn't online yet and needs a lot more to be online. I mean, you're starting to see Fly. I do believe that his Yasha flying out, not going to be enough still. He can right-click hard on the right heroes, but when you clump up all the heroes from CDEC, They do too much damage. They clear through those illusions because they're really paper right now. You don't have any way of getting that opening on CDEC. This could be the Roach going away as well. I don't see them contesting this one. And that's just going to give so much more to CDEC. They've got the 10k advantage, 20-4, 19 minutes in. If they can clear out this map, start taking that last tier 2 and knock on those tier 3s, there's not going to be too much space for IG to farm up.
It's going to be a very easy Roach on CDEC. They'll take it. Eve will pick up the Aegis on the Leshrac. And once again, Moonlight Shadow will be popped straight away. IG going to be very afraid of what's coming as they are running directly towards the side of the Dire. Everyone does run the right way though, at the very least. So nobody will get caught out. CDEC just getting some D wards, getting some bounty runes up for themselves. Perhaps even a kill soon as Ollie, hook shot will not connect. They still know the Ogre's there somewhere. They're just not as eager to find this kill. Arrow will be whiffed, but there's the battery assault cogs. Ollie has no way out of that situation.
Eve lost the Aegis.
Oh, top play. Eve.
Yeah. He was going for the rune. He lost his Aegis. But, I mean, you know, I guess they didn't need it. Doesn't look like CDEC's too phased by that. I mean, they still found a kill on Ollie, I guess. They didn't get that rune though, so no, probably not going to be too happy, Eve.
Well, they're going to smoke up. No hookshot available, so you can't really rely on that initiation, but CDEC feeling confident as they should be. They're going to run straight into Ollie once again. He just TP'd to the shrine.
Oh, man.
Poor Ogre is going to have to suffer once more. Do they transition top? It looks like they don't want to. Rather, they're going to stick around mid lane.
I reckon that they should start clearing out that tier 2 up top. Take that last objective off the map. Start knocking on those tier 3s, force a response from IG. They really don't have a defense game. Like, they're just not online, these heroes. You are relying on Kaka to perhaps steal a couple of big spells. Even then, you don't have the big teamfight spells in this game anyway. So you have a lot of small utility spells, but you might have enough in the tank, at least for Fly, to burst down a couple of heroes. Still, it's a tall ask. He is right around the gold for his ultimate orb, inching towards that Manta style, so you are seeing signs of life here. IG is still keeping pace, at the very least on their PL.
Well, there's that tier 2 top tower going down. James was there to just push it out with the siege creep. They'll get that. And that is the final objective outside of the base for IG being taken out. Manta almost up for Fly. Will that make a difference? We'll find out. It's the Moonlight Shadow once again being popped. Mid lane, there is a smoke from IG, but it's going to get broken so darn quick by 1-2-3, and he just walks back. And now they realize, hold on, the smoke's broken. Kaka dusts up, gets hooked up straight away. Where's the rest of the team, though? He blade mails up Kaka, falling low, but not low enough. Guardian Angel will come out, now disrupted to save the clock. But 1-2-3 kind of just hooked himself to his own death. Now XM gonna move in on the gyro. Emo will get saved by disruption from the Rubik. And XM, he will still find a massive pick. Now Ollie, he'll be chased down on the Ogre. He's gone. Another double for XM as he goes after the PL. They get the arrow. He's got no way out of this. And Kaka trying to help on the Rubik. I thought it was over. Not quite. As Kaka's going to go down as well. Ollie running south. He just brought back. He doesn't want to tie. But they'll find JT instead on the Omni. It's going to be an ultra kill coming up from XM. And it wasn't even a challenge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a really wonky initiation coming out from CDEC. They still went out in the end. So you only have an Ogre to defend. These tier 3s are not going to be standing for too long, Mike.
There's not many creeps left. They may not have time. Although, never mind. Eve's here. With that Edict, you definitely have enough time. I don't think they stick around here for the racks. But, well, I like it. CDEC trying to apply more pressure. They will eventually back off. No need to push this limit and, you know, throw your lead away in case you lose another team fight.
is under attack.
Just keep things going as they are. Dota Plus, 95% the way of CDEC, and that is extremely accurate, I would argue.
Has fallen.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen that kind of stat from Dota Plus. Has been much more even throughout the day, but there is a clear advantage for CDEC in this game. 15k net worth lead, 27-6, 24 minutes in. They've already taken that first tier 3. They've taken one shrine. If they can take out that next shrine, the last one remaining, that's just no TP points for IG. Roche is completely open. Jungle, it's not going to be safe. In fact, it's already not quite safe anyway. So you're just going to be taking away all the sources of farm for IG. And they need a lot more farm to get these fights going.
Dire's top shrine is under attack. Dire's top shrine has fallen.
XM, thanks out the top shrine. Fly. Goes up mid lane. Gotta be careful as that PL though. There's still so many ways to just take him out. Firefly has been slowly catching him in farm though. It doesn't feel like it's quite enough yet.
It's definitely not. It's a far cry from what you'd want. It's a decent pace considering the start of this game, but if they force a fight here...
1, 2, 3. He's got the hook ready. Just gotta find the right PL. Also, doesn't want to hook too early like last time, but may go for it now. And yeah, he goes straight on the gyro. Arrow to follow. They have the Heavenly Grace this time around, so they won't be able to burst down Emo. And he throws the call down out now. Flak cannoning his way to victory, but it's really doing no damage. But 1, 2, 3 will be the first one down, as now they will chase Eve on the Leshrac. Still, he uses himself up. XM jumps in straight onto that gyro. Now Nullifier comes out from XM. He clears him out. Still Eve going fly, trying to make the chase, but it will be no good on the PL. At the very least, the buybacks will allow IG to continue this chase. The CDEC do not seem interested whatsoever. They just get out of there. They already got what they came for. 3 buybacks. It was a 2 for 3 before those buybacks came out. It's another win for CDEC.
Definitely is. They're going to be happy with that trade. They understand if they take the next team fight, that means the high ground is definitely very open for them to take.
Radiant are scanning.
So it's a risky spot to be in as IG. They're going to try to find an objective. They are whittling away at that T1. But that's probably the most they can get. Just some tickling damage on that mid-tier 1. Not much more.
Hook shot from 1, 2, 3. Fortunately for him, illusions were running straight towards him, so he does just hook the illusions and now mid. CDEC, my shadow up. Do they go for this team fight? They don't have the initiation they want, but James goes for the blind arrow. Won't really work out. Roshan is back on the table as well. There's another arrow. He is actually going to land on Kaka. Don't really have a way to break the distance that quick though.
Yeah, I want to point out, 1, 2, 3 got the short end of the stick this game. He's level 13 as the core clock. Not the best spot to be in, but you know, he still does the work. You'd want to see a bit more utility on him, at the very least finish that 4 staff. Still, he's bought a lot for his team. They are going to take this Roche, although there is a fight.
There is a fight, but the Aegis is down. Cheese on the deck, but they'll pick that up as well. Now, well, they rush in. 1, 2, 3, keeping them back. Call down is there. Everyone's still alive on the side of CDEC though, and this does not look good for IG. They're going to lose their Ogre, at least Ollie. He goes down. Now Fly trying to fight, but James has him in the Yules. The arrow to set up, not going to be there, but they got the Nullifier anyway, and this PO is going nowhere. And meanwhile, Eve is chasing the rest of IG. Kaka will get caught out. At the very least, he got the lift off. And how much does it matter? He's going to lose 2 more heroes and a Roshan.
Dire's bottom tower
And
is
XM wants to at least force the issue, try and force out that PL buyback. And even if he does buyback, I don't know if it's going to make a difference.
It's gonna be hard. Like, they do need the damage coming out from him, but the control's the big part. They don't have it. They don't have the control. They're gonna have to pop the Fortify. That's not gonna stop this push.
Definitely not. You've got the Aegis Cheese available in both your calls anyway.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen.
Now they head down bot. I don't blame them. They've still got plenty of time to go. Emo trying his best with the flat cannon to force them back, but they are still very, very healthy.
Dire's bottom tower is
It looks like CDEC 1 racks and added tier 3, and they will back off to safety. So Eve gets
arrow
hit by an
onto
arrow from Kaka. Now the lift is going to be there as follow-up. In fact, they don't even need it, but what a hook. 1, 2, 3, turns it around with the cogs. Emo, 4-star sound, but this could be really bad. Call down comes out as well. They're just trying to slow down the side of CDEC from pursuing this chase. And now IG, do they try and punish again? They caught out Eve on the left rack. Arrow avoided by the disruption. They'll give Eve another life as he BKBs up, moves forward. Emo and him are trapped in the cogs right now. They're just trying to go after JT, but got the Guardian Angel making it so hard. It won't be as hard as I thought they do go down. And now Fly trying to help out. He does at least man to dodge the nullifier from XM. But this still looks bad. They found the Yules onto Fly. Arrow, Ollie goes down. And with that, Fly, they miss the split earth, but it doesn't matter. The game's over.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a rough one for IG after a pretty strong win in game 1. CDEC just speeds up that game, cuts it half, and do take game number 2, 36-9, 27k network lead for them. A pretty explosive game too. I have to say IG have to go back to the drawing board, look at their draft, reassess what they've done, and perhaps force that game tree to be in their advantage.
Do you think the draft was just a little bit too greedy from IG?
Yeah, it's 100% it's down to that draft. That core pickups they had just didn't have the momentum. They require too much farm to get online. And when they don't, they just falter. The momentum from CDEC was way too much. And so, they perhaps correct that in game number 3. We'll find out, Mike.
Yeah, we definitely will. We'll be back with game 3 in just a moment. We are already in the lobby. It is MLP Dota and Dronix Fire. We'll see you guys very, very soon.